Okay, let's talk about something that I know drives a lot of us absolutely crazy. It's getting that document you've spent ages perfecting in Microsoft Word to actually print out the way it looks on your screen. Today, we're going to build a totally foolproof workflow so it comes out perfect every single time.
Oh, you know that feeling. Your heart sinks, right? You've aligned everything, you've placed your images just so, you've found the perfect border, you hit print, you're feeling great, and then you get this page with the edges clipped off, the pictures look all fuzzy, or the colors are just weird. It's a universal pain, and today we are going to fix it. And I really mean for good, seriously. By the time we're done here, you are going to have a simple process that just takes all the guesswork out of printing. It's going to give you professional, totally predictable results every single time. All right, first things first. The real secret to a perfect print job, it has almost nothing to do with the print button. It all starts way back at the beginning, with a solid foundation in how you set up your document. Honestly, getting these first few steps right prevents like 90% of the problems down the line. So this part right here is totally non-negotiable. The second you open Word, head straight to the Layout tab. First, set your page size. Make it match the actual paper you're going to print on, whether that's A4 or letter or something else. Then you set your margins. And think of margins as a safety buffer zone. Most printers, especially the ones we have at home, they physically cannot print all the way to the edge of the paper. So just start with at least 12.7 millimeters or half an inch on all sides. It's a fantastic rule of thumb. Now let's talk pictures. If you want your images to look sharp and professional in print, and not like some blurry mess you pulled off the internet, you gotta remember one magic number, 300 ppi. That's pixels per inch. See, your screen only needs about 72 to 96 ppi to look good, so an image that looks totally fine on your monitor can look absolutely horrible on paper. So for a pro result, make sure every single image is at least 300 ppi at the size it's going to be printed. Okay, next up, fonts. You know, it is so tempting to use that really cool, stylish font you found online for free, but trust me, it's a huge gamble. If that font doesn't get properly embedded when you make your PDF, the printer or another computer might just swap it for something else, totally wrecking your layout. The safest bet, stick with the classics. You know, Calibri, Arial, Times New Roman. They might seem a little boring, but they are designed to work everywhere, every time. Want to get that really pro-level control over your text? You need to dig into Word's hidden paragraph settings. Keep lines together and Keep with Next are about to become your best friends. They stop headings from getting separated from their paragraphs at a page break. And you have got to turn on widow/orphan control. A widow is that lonely last line of a paragraph sitting all by itself at the top of a new page, and an orphan is the first line stranded at the bottom. This feature just automatically cleans all that up and keeps your text looking tidy. All right, let's talk about maybe the single biggest source of printing frustration on the planet, the clipped page border. You know exactly what I'm talking about. One side of your beautiful frame is just gone. But don't worry, there's a really clever way to beat the printer at its own game and create a border that simply cannot be clipped. So here's the trick. You have to ignore Word's built-in page border tool. That thing is usually the cause of the problem. Instead, we are going to manually build a border, but we're going to put it in a special layer that the printer can't really mess with. This creates a permanent, totally unshakable frame for your work. We call this the header anchor method, and it is bulletproof. First, you just open up the header on your page. This gets you into that special layer that repeats on every single page. Now, in there, you're going to insert a simple rectangle shape. Format it with no fill, pick an outline style you like, and then, and this is the magic part, you position it relative to the page, not the margins, and you set the text wrapping to behind text. This one little trick basically puts your border outside the printer's normal rules, making it completely unclippable. So why is this method so darn reliable? Well, it is all about something called the anchor. When you put an object in the main part of your document, it's anchored to the text. So if the text moves, the object moves. But by putting our border in the header, we're anchoring it to the page itself. It's like we glued it to the paper instead of pinning it to the words. It becomes totally independent, which guarantees it stays in the exact same spot on every page, no matter what. Okay, so our structure is rock solid. Let's talk about color. It's really easy to design a beautiful, colorful document, but a lot of us forget one absolutely crucial test. What's this thing gonna look like when it's printed in black and white? And this is a trap that so many people fall into. The vibrant, totally distinct colors you see on your screen, they can turn into a muddy, confusing, indistinguishable mess in Grayscale. And if your document relies only on color to tell things apart, it can become completely unreadable.
Just take a look at this chart here. In full color, right, the blue and green bars are super distinct, easy to read. But look what happens when you switch to grayscale. They become almost the exact same shade of gray. If your data depends on telling those two colors apart, poof, all the meaning is just suddenly gone. So how do you make your designs black and white friendly? It's pretty simple. Always use 100% black for your main body text. That gives you maximum contrast. For charts and graphs, never rely on color alone. Use different patterns or labels or even different line styles to tell your data apart. And if you use a colored background, make sure it's super light. Think no more than a 10 or 15% gray, so the text on top stays really easy to read. Okay, you've built a solid foundation. You've created a foolproof border, and you've made your design work in black and white. Now for the final act before you hit print, exporting a perfect, locked-in PDF. Seriously, this is not the time to just quickly click save. The way you export your file to a PDF is the very last moment of control you have over the final product. This step is what locks in all of your hard work, your layout, your fonts, your image quality, into one single totally reliable file. So in the Save As menu, you'll choose PDF, but then look for the Options button. Make sure you optimize for Standard, because that preserves the high quality needed for printing. And here's a real pro tip. Check the box that says PDF/A compliant. PDF/A is an archival format, and its whole job is to make sure everything, especially your fonts, is perfectly embedded and self-contained. It's the absolute best way to guarantee your document looks identical everywhere. Your perfect PDF is ready. We are on the home stretch now. This last part is all about that final little sanity check and knowing what to do if, for some reason, something still looks a little bit off. Think of this as your little cheat sheet. If you see a border is missing, you now know to check your margins or just use that header anchor method we talked about. Images look fuzzy? That means you need to re-export in standard quality. Fonts look all wrong? Re-exporting with that PDF/A compliant box checked will almost always fix it. This turns that moment of print panic into just a simple, quick fix. So let's bring it all together. Here is your final print-ready formula. 1. Set your page size and your safe margins. 2. Style your text for clean flow with Keep with Next. 3. Make sure every single image is at least 300 ppi. 4. Build that unclippable border using our header anchor method. 5. Save as a PDF using standard quality and PDF/A compliance. 6. And this is a big one, always print one test page in color and another in grayscale. And finally, 7. Make any last-minute tweaks and then print your final batch with total and complete confidence. This is your guarantee against printing frustration. So now the only real question left is, what amazing idea have you been holding back on just because you were afraid it wouldn't print right?